What's going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday night. It is 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we're here talking Giants or just football in general. So let's get into it a little bit. First, let me get the link out there for everybody. Give me 1 second. I always forget to do this in the beginning. Okay. Comments. Here we go. And paste. And there we go. All right, the link is out, guys. Anybody wants to pop in, feel free to come on. We're going to talk some more Giants tonight. I know we did some with Sneaky G-Man last night. I think that's the good thing about me and Sneaky G is we don't always agree on everything, and he gives me a chance to, display my opinion, and he does the same. But I'm here to do my show right now. And right now, seeing that the Giants signed a kicker, former Minnesota kicker. He actually beat us last year, I think it was, with a 61-yard field goal at the end of the game. I forget his name. And then we supposedly signed a linebacker off of I don't know if he was on the Eagles practice squad or if they cut him. Really didn't get too much into it today. I'm trying to help my son do a lot of stuff. Greg Joseph, thank you, Austin. Appreciate you. Austin's here. I see Daryl's in the backstage, so let's bring Daryl on and let's get the show going. Daryl, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
All right. You might hear some clicking for just a second. I'm at Walmart.
No, you're good. You're good. Bringing up them groceries.
Yes, sir. So what was you talking about? I didn't hear you at the beginning.
Well, no. So basically, the Giants basically signed a kicker. His name's Greg Joseph. Last year, he beat us with a 61-yard field goal when we were going against Minnesota. And, he ended up beating us during that game. So we know he can kick the big ones. We did pick up a linebacker. Again, I don't know if it was from the Eagles practice squad or the Eagles waived them, something. I know he's with the Eagles. Didn't really get a chance to look at any of that too much today. If you guys notice, my voice is a little off today.
Why, from screaming?
Nah, I kind of got some bad news, and when I get bad news, it's aggravating. It's not bad news like somebody died or anything. It's bad news like I found out that I'm going to be on temporary disability for another 6 weeks.
Oh.
And, I'm anxious to get back to work. So basically what the doctor's saying is I just got to build up my strength. The full range of motion is back. Everything's good there. I just got to get the strengthening going again. But so I want to get back on to – so I've seen a lot today, and a lot of people talking about this kid out of Colorado, the quarterback. And a lot of people are talking about how it's a little – it wouldn't be right for the Giants to sign him or to, draft him. And they're basing it solely on his attitude towards that other quarterback who was talking smack about him. Now, first of all, I don't mind a cocky quarterback at all. Do I think he was wrong? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That other quarterback was talking major smack, and all he said, basically said was like, I'm not shaking your hand, dude. Like, you want to talk smack? I got my karma. I don't have to shake your hand. So right. I kind of understand that. Was it a little rude? Yeah. But how much more rude was it than the other kid talking smack? You know what I mean?
It was all over the internet.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I think he has a tremendous upside. And a lot of people are like, well, we can't bring in this quarterback. We can't bring in – because another name that's floating out there is trading for Bryce Young, which I wouldn't be against. Bryce Young is in his, second year, third year? And – he's surely not given a fair shake in Carolina, but he could be the type of guy that Daboll goes, oh, you know what? That could be my guy right there. Because he's so young, because he's so green, and he's still kind of wet behind the ears, he's the kind of guy you want to bring in. He's the kind of guy that can learn from Brian Daboll from the get-go, basically. You throw away his last 2 years. But again, and I want to say it's not a slight on Daniel Jones, but no matter how you look at it, it is. Daniel Jones, 6 years into it, still not getting it. And again, people are like, oh, I'll take a game manager. Well, it's few and far between when game managers win Super Bowls. It just is. Trent Dilfer was one. A lot of people say that Nick Foles was a game manager. I don't think so. Nick Foles was exciting to watch. And I only say that now because he's not an Eagle anymore. He was exciting to watch. And, he boosted his team. To me, that's not a game manager. I want a guy that's going to be in the huddle, hold guys accountable. I want a guy that's going to, pump his fist and throw his hands in the air when they score a touchdown. I want to see a quarterback that looks downfield and sees, his tight end or one of his receivers or even his running back take a shot and then get up and show the first down. He's right there with them, high-fiving and stuff like that. That's the kind of quarterback I want. Daniel Jones is along the Eli Manning trade when it comes to enthusiasm. Yeah, he'll pump his fist, stuff like that. And that's fine. It's appreciative. But the thing with Daniel Jones and Eli Manning was right for the time he was in the league. He was a quarterback that, knew when to be quiet, knew when not to say anything, knew to let stuff just roll off his chest and brush it off his shoulder. We're in an age now where, you got to watch what you say. You got to say the right things or you're going to be destroyed for it. And right. Daniel Jones is doing basically, and people can go back and look at the tape of Joe Judge. He's saying the same thing week in and week out for 6 years. When is enough enough? And you get all these people, oh, I'm still on the Jones train. Are you going to be on the Jones train if they, decide to pick up his last 2 years and we still get the same results? I would like to know that answer. So anybody watching, feel free to come on, feel free to comment, in the comment section and let me know how you feel. Like, is this something you potentially want to go for another 2 years? I think it's crap. KJ, what's up, brother?
All right. Hey, Ed, listen.
What's up?
Let's talk about Shedeur. We don't have to worry about him getting drafted by the New York Giants because he don't want to play for the New York Giants. He's done already said if they try to draft him, he's going to pull an Eli.
He did say that?
Yeah. It's because I watch his podcast.
Really?
Too legendary. And him and his brothers were on there discussing, where would they like to be drafted. Shiloh with the cornerback, the safety, his brother don't mind to play in New York, but Shedeur, the quarterback, he don't want to play in New York.
It's probably too big for him.
So because that's who I wanted him to come. I wanted him to come play for us also because he's got Tom Brady-like attributes. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because if you watch his games, you'd be like, nah, damn, that looks like number 12 right there. Because you got to remember, that's his mentor too.
Oh yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
So, and far as Bryce Young, you got to remember, Brian Daboll was in Alabama when Bryce Young was there.
Right. So again, it would make a perfect fit. The only problem is, and I do think we could get him at a steal if we did, because based on the fact that they benched him, doesn't kind of like ensue to the fact that they're going to want top-notch picks or multiple picks or anything like that. I think we could probably get him for third-round pick, maybe even a fourth-round pick.
That's what I'm thinking, but they said they wasn't trying to they said they wasn't trying to shop him.
See, I don't like that. They throw him in the fire from year one, and then they bench him. Like, first of all, that's not good for a quarterback's ego. And second of all, you don't want this quarterback to be upset neither. You don't want him to be upset with you as a team and be like, oh, okay, you're going to bench me. I'm doing my best here. And, you guys are just, basically did the Daniel Jones his first couple years. And in Daniel Jones' first couple years, absolutely, I gave him the excuses. I absolutely did. And right now, Bryce Young deserves those excuses. Maybe they benched him just to prove a point. Like, you're definitely someone we can replace. to kind of give him the hint. I haven't watched much of Carolina's games, but I'm telling you, if they benched him, most likely it's because of something he's doing. Now, KJ says something. I wouldn't mind having Arch Manning.
Listen, he's still got 2 more years before he even
Yeah.
think about leaving.
But so as a sophomore, he's a sophomore, right?
No, he's a freshman.
Oh, he's a freshman? Oh, I think you have to complete your sophomore year before you can enter the draft. I could be wrong on that.
But you better believe, I guarantee you better believe, if he was to enter it, they would go grab him.
Oh, they sure would. Why wouldn't you want to take and that's the thing with John Mara. We all know that, and I don't know if that's
them damn Mannings. He loves
that's
them.
what I mean. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like again,
hey, listen. The 2 games that I've seen him play in, that boy can ball.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I know John Mara sure would like him around and for sure, if he continues to be the player he is, I don't see any reason why Daboll wouldn't want a guy like him either.
Hey, listen, Ed. Mark my words. I'm not saying it's true, but I just got this feel. What's the name's coming?
Arch?
Bill Belichick.
Man, I don't know, but I'm hung up on that. I don't.
I know, but see, I can tell you that because I know you give me harsh criticism. You let me know how it is, but I just got that feeling, man.
I just think
because if they fired Brian, you got to think about it. If they fired Brian Daboll, who they gonna hire?
Yeah, but at the same time though, if you hire Belichick, that means you got to get rid of Joe Shane too, because Belichick wants to control all his draft picks, so on and so forth. And is that based on his last couple of years without Brady in New England, is that the kind of guy, or is that the guy you want to go with to possibly turn the system around? Because if you do that, you're looking, and again, based off of his last few years as a coach in New England, you got to consider the fact that we might go through a couple more years of this. And in my opinion, the objective is to at least start getting winning seasons under our belt. We can't even do that yet.
Well, see, I was thinking, now this is crazy, but I think Brian Daboll would take a job.
Say that again?
I think he would come back and work for Bill Belichick as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I don't think he would be too happy if he got fired and demoted. I just don't see that happen. I mean, stranger things have happened, but I can't see that happening.
That's true. Hey, that's just that's just the thoughts that be crossing my mind, though. Sometimes.
No, it's fine. You got to bring them out and let people talk about it, man. That's what it's all about. Any thought that comes to your mind,
But I was thinking, but you never know. Bill Belichick might persuade him to.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, so I want to get back into the Saquon Barkley thing. I think I brought it up on Sneaky Show last night, but it was kind of
I think I was asleep.
No, I think you were awake. It was one of those afterthoughts because, as much as we love to see Barkley not make that catch, right? As much as we want to sit here and say Butterfingers Barkley, we technically had the same thing happen to us the day before. Because
yes, sir.
Had Neighbors caught that ball,
game was over.
Yeah, I think we definitely had a chance to run that clock down and either get a touchdown or maybe Daboll sends Gillian out to try another field goal. At worst, it would have been still a tie game.
He would have if he would have caught that ball, he was going to run Devin Singletary all the way to the fourth down.
Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, you also got to recognize that during those times in a game, when you're trying to run down a clock, specifically because we didn't have, nearly the time of possession that they did. We weren't far behind, but they held it a lot longer than we did. So in those situations with a few minutes left in the game, they're going to know that you're going to try and keep punching it. And so, basically they're going to look at, okay, they're going to run the ball. It's just a matter of figuring out where.
Right.
And then that's when, you kind of got to back off of Daniel Jones a little bit because in those spots, Daniel Jones has proven to be sometimes his worst. I mean, he has shown he can be at his best sometimes, but for the most part, he's shown that he can be at his worst, because then he starts forcing balls, making bad plays because he's not getting out of the pocket quick enough. And it's just, I don't know, man. It's tough, man. I mean, we can sit here and say what if all night, but the fact of the matter is we have a quarterback that, although he had a better game, we're still not that confident in him. And again, if you're running the ball, sooner or later, the other team's going to catch wind of that, and they're going to start stuffing them holes up. And then we're going to have nowhere to run. And then we're going to be forced to kick a field goal, which, I mean, let's face facts here, was not in Brian Daboll's mind. Could it have been if we drove down close enough? Yeah, possibly, just to get the win. But the fact that, he didn't want to trust him leads me to say that they would have definitely tried to score a touchdown. And again, they could have kept trying to pass the ball. I mean, who knows? If Neighbors catches that ball and Daniel Jones throws a couple more times, and then they decide to switch it up and run motor at the 3-4 yard line, he can punch it in or whatever. Because again, one thing that's been really good is the one thing we've been missing for so long, other than a quarterback. Our offensive line has been legit.
Because they had no quarterback pressures the other day.
Well, they were hurried. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They were hurried 7 times, and none of them were against Thomas. And Daniel Jones was only sacked once. I mean, if you look at the statistics of the game, with the exception of the time of possession, there's really no reason that the Giants should have lost that game.
No, you're right. But you know what bothers me, Ed? Why can't the rest of the receivers get open like Neighbors?
Well, see, that's another thing, because in week 1, the Giants were number 4 in separation from the DBs. This week, we were still in the top 10. In fact, we were number 10 of wide receivers that are breaking away. The problem is when Daniel Jones goes deep, specifically this year, and again, I know it's only 2 games, he's overthrown guys. So he's still not on the same page with the exception of the quick passes to Malik Neighbors. He can't hit him downfield. They're not getting, one of the main guys that can get down the field in Jalen Hyatt. They're not even giving him the right plays. I mean, somebody asked him, they asked him the other Daboll the other day, it seems like you're really not getting Hyatt involved. And Daboll's response was it was almost like cocky, oh, well, we put him in for 11 to 14 plays. Oh yeah, but you didn't. His number wasn't called. That's the problem I have with it. His number wasn't called, and I truly
the
believe
number 4th receiver on the depth chart.
What's that?
He's number 4 on the depth chart, though, on wide receivers.
Right.
So that's maybe another reason why he's not getting no playing time.
I mean, again, if I look at the situation, I understand Daniel Bellinger is coming back from that, the eye injury, and he's been a little shaky. But not for nothing. I know Jalen Hyatt didn't, get a lot thrown to him his rookie year, but he made some spectacular catches. He made some good catches down the field. It makes me ask, does Daniel Jones actually throw long passes to Malik Neighbors? It doesn't look like it, because, if he's just overthrowing them, I'd say, okay, they're still a little off, but they're close. They're going to get there. He was nowhere near. He was overthrowing him by 5-10 yards each time, and it didn't look good. And, Slayton was open a couple times.
Right.
Wandell was definitely open a couple times. So it's I don't know. It's just it's crazy. Let me see. Donovan says, I wonder what's going on with Jalen Hyatt. Wasn't he supposed to be our number 2 pack? Why do we even draft him if he's not going to play? So I would really like to know that answer. And the reason I'd like to know that answer is because, A, you're right. Why do we even draft him? And B, again, he had a good year his rookie year. Again, it wasn't spectacular. I didn't expect him to come out and be the number one receiver, but I agree with Donovan. I was expecting him to be the number two.
I don't know what happened, man. There's something that he's doing that they're not liking.
Well, there's something that they're doing that he's not liking either, because if I understand correctly, Sneaky brought up on his show last week that one of the receivers had left early, I guess, and still had his eye black on. I'm willing to bet that was Jalen Hyatt. I almost have no doubt in my mind that that's who it was that left early and was pissed off and didn't take a shower and left basically with everything he had on with the exception of the uniform. It's mind-blowing to me. And Daboll, I don't know, like, he does look pissed off at his press conferences, which rightfully so. He should be pissed off. You know, we're going 0-2 again. However, when he's answering questions, he's almost cocky with them. It's almost like he's saying to these reporters, well, you should know the answer to that. I mean, he's not saying that. Right. And I know Jordan Renan, like, pushes his buttons, but I appreciate Jordan Renan. The reason I appreciate him is, yeah, some of his questions are stupid, but he presses Daboll. When he does have a good question, he presses him, and Daboll, for the most part, tries to divert from answering those questions. And Renan keeps going at him. And yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing Daboll get pissed off and blow up at Jordan Renan, because the fact, and again, I understand Jordan Renan's trying to get on ESPN and become a name and everything, and that's fine, but he's not doing anything wrong. He's asking questions that a lot of fans are wondering. And the fact that Daboll's not answering them, why wouldn't he continue to ask? You know what I'm saying? I would try to goad him in the freaking answering the question. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Well, you know what, and I think, ever since he went soft on his team, they've been playing like that.
Right.
Because, a couple years back, he was all up in their shit. As soon as they done something wrong, he was in their shit.
Right.
So when he got them pissed off, they played pissed off. I believe that was another reason why they were playing so good that year when we went to the playoffs.
Right.
Because they played pissed off. I mean, they playing like they middle school kids.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. So Donovan says the only thing I can figure is it's going to be Slayton's last year, and they're trying to get as much play time out of him as possible because he's really good for us when we had nobody. I agree with that, but at the same time, I'm not going to disagree with it, but I'm going to bring a flip side to that. So I get what you're saying. I don't disagree at all. But my point is, if they're going to fade him out or use him as much as possible this year, because it is the last year of his contract, I believe, then why wouldn't you get Jalen Hyatt a few more plays? Like, don't you want him to be in the flow of things before the end of the year? And again, it's only week 2. We're going into week 3. I totally understand it. But it just doesn't make sense for them to not. Again, he's putting him in. What's he doing? Nothing. Now, is that attributed to Jalen Hyatt? Which to me, it doesn't, because again, you go to statistics of the last 2 weeks with separation. We were number 4 in week 1. We were number 10 in week 2. So we're still up there in the first 2 weeks of receivers separating from the DBs. So I don't understand why Daniel Jones is either not throwing a ball or they're not calling plays to Hyatt. I just don't understand it. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. Let me bring EMAC on because he's been sitting in the back. EMAC, what's up, bro?
What's up, Ian and Daryl? How you guys doing?
Good. Sorry to keep you in the back so long.
I'm doing all right. How you doing, EMAC?
I'm doing good. I'm at work,
Well, I'm not asleep tonight, EMAC. What's up, buddy?
Anyway, is it Shador's brother? I thought he was a corner.
Yeah, of course, his brother. Shador's brother is a corner.
Oh, Daryl said he was a safety. I thought I heard 3 minutes
ago.
No,
he said corner. He said corner.
Yeah, Shiloh Sanders.
Yeah, at first you said safety, but then you changed it. Like, no, it was a DB. So Donovan says maybe try to. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, Shiloh, he's a safety. He plays safety. Shiloh.
Right.
Shiloh Sanders. And he said he would like to come play for us, but his brother doesn't.
Yeah.
I think his brother's trying to go to the Las Vegas Raiders.
It's possible.
That's where he's trying to go.
Donovan makes a good point here when speaking upon Slayton. Maybe they try and trade him mid-season if he starts playing well. That's actually a good thought there, Donovan. I didn't think of that one. That's good. I'm glad you brought that up. And maybe he's right. Maybe they use Slayton as a trade pawn upon sometime this before the trade deadline. I don't know that we would get much for him. Maybe, I don't know, 4th rounder, maybe 5th. Because again, like, yeah, he makes Daniel Jones look better, but Daniel Jones still don't look better than he, as good as he should. So that's not really saying much.
I might be going off topic about the Giants, but I think Tom Brady had more All-Stars than Mahomes.
See, but you also got to understand. You also got to understand, with the exception, because Gronk came up in that system, so you can't call Gronk a superstar. You can because he was, but you can't as far as like, he came from their system.
I'm not counting tight ends, by the way, just so you know that.
But if you're looking at receivers and stuff, with the exception of Randy Moss, none of those receivers he had were names until they worked with Brady.
But those receivers were. Go ahead, Ian.
No, I'm saying Brady gave those guys their names. Brady made those guys household names in New England.
But under Brady, either way, they still played like all-stars, even if they didn't make the Pro Bowl. They still played like one. And the receivers under Mahomes, you got Juju, Kadarius Toney, MBS, and all those guys weren't even that good.
Well, okay, but I don't attribute that to Pat Mahomes. We knew when we had Kadarius Toney that he was a piece of shit. We knew it then because he cares more about his horrible rap career than anything else. He cares more about being a troll than anything else. I mean, Kadarius Toney is to me, I think he was probably Dave Gettleman's biggest flop. Now, I understand that Daniel Jones is a lingering flop for us. But Kadarius Toney, I mean, at this point was a wasted pick. At least Daniel Jones, gave us his rookie year was pretty decent. And, again, we didn't have a great record, but he had a good, rookie season. And then, a couple years ago, he brought us to the playoffs. So at least we got that out of Daniel Jones. Kadarius Toney was a cancer the minute he showed up to camp.
And then the Brady, he had more defensive all-stars than Mahomes. Mahomes only had 3, 2.
Yeah, but you know what? On defense, you really don't need a cast of all-stars because if you remember, a lot of those all-stars were out of their prime. I mean, you look at Junior Seau, still a very effective linebacker at the time, but let's face facts here. He signed on his own with the Patriots, and it's because they were on a run. And when he signed with them, I truly believe that he was on his way out. He just wanted to get that ring. And at the time, who better to join than the Patriots, especially considering they went on a 17-0 run before meeting the Giants and eventually losing in the playoff or in the Super Bowl. So
the Chiefs defense, you only had Tyrann Mathieu, Chris Jones, and at least Frank Clark as all-stars. And Brady, you had Hightower, you had Logan Ryan, Malcolm Butler, you had the McCourty twins, you had Vince Wilfork, Rob Nikovich, Chandler Jones, all these defensive guys. And yes, they are, to me, all-stars on that Patriots defense. Oh yeah, don't want to forget Rodney Harrison. Anyway, go ahead, Dan.
1 month.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, with the defense, you have a solid point. I really can't argue that. But with the offense, I'm going to argue because, again,
all I'm saying is Mahomes is better overall of all time than Tom Brady.
Yeah, as far as the quarterback for this era, 100%. 100%.
And then
Even if
Mahomes
Tom
has
Brady
won.
was good,
Mahomes has also won a ring with an elite receiver by Tyreek Hill, and Brady has had Randy Moss and went to a Super Bowl. And guess how much he won? None.
yeah, no, you're right.
It's like, hey Daryl, remember when Daryl, are you here?
Yeah, I'm listening. I don't
So
like to
did
talk.
Kurt
He's not
say
sleeping yet.
Jordan never won without Pippen?
Say
But see,
what?
now again, that's another Gronk situation to me, because Pippen came up in that organization. Scottie Pippen came up in that organization. A lot of those players came up in that organization. So to say that Jordan had superstars around them, well, they were inter-team developed players. Isn't that what you want? Now, the big threes and all that stuff didn't happen until the Boston Celtics decided to do it, and then they won. And then, who was the next team to do it? Was it Cleveland?
But Michael Jordan only had one All-Star, and that was Scottie Pippen.
And yes, Daryl, I did watch that show of
In his
the
first
Michael
run.
Jordan and LeBron debate
So
during the Sneaky show.
in Jordan's first 3 championships, nobody can take that away from him. He had a team of guys just like him, came up through the system, worked well together, and brought that city three championships. But if you look at his second run, they did bring in guys. They already knew who Pippen was. They brought in Tony Kukoc. They brought in Dennis Rodman. I mean,
Well, him and Pippen did that together, bringing in Tony Kukoc, and
yeah.
Pippen didn't want Dennis Rodman, but Michael did. See, Mike knew he needed Dennis, though.
The whole team did, because Dennis Rodman, in my mind, to this day, is the greatest rebounder of all time.
Will always be.
Yeah,
Will always be.
I know the numbers aren't there. I mean, they're there, but they're not like Hall of Fame type numbers. But the guy did his job day in and day out. He hit a little bucket when you needed him to, and he got in other players' heads. He was a nuisance. And doing that, he became one of the elite rebounders of all time. So, I mean, who wouldn't want him? I'd want him. I think with that situation, it was a matter of coaches. And I think Phil Jackson was the perfect coach to put him under.
And to all the people think that Mahomes is still early in his career, he's really not early in his career anymore. He's only like his 8th season?
Yeah,
and he's 28 years old.
If you watch him play now, he looks a little slower too.
A little bit. I think a lot of the hits are starting to take a toll on him. That's why they say, for the most part, a QB's lifespan in the NFL is anywhere from 8 to 15 years. It's not a long lifespan in a sport. I mean, you see Major League Baseball players playing 20, 30 years at some point. I mean, Nolan Ryan, they had to scrape him off the field.
That was my man too.
Nolan Ryan was a beast, man. Even as he got older, man. I mean, the dude was still throwing no-hitters. He was the George Foreman of the MLB.
They don't make athletes like they did when we were coming up. They don't make them anymore.
No. That's why, as much as I appreciate the smart, smart, tough, dependable, with the Giants, as much as I appreciate that, that's not what the game is anymore. It's just not. All these players today want to be coddled.
Want more money.
Yeah, they want more money. They want to say they were the reason you won or lost or this or that. They don't listen. With today's player, for the most part, they're not all like that. But for the most part, your players today are more worried about their next contract than they are about a Super Bowl. Now, that's
just
the
sad,
one thing.
man.
That's the one thing. I know Barkley. Listen, as much as I hate what he did and how he went about it, we would have all been more respectful as a fan of his if he said, listen, I just wanted to go somewhere where I have a chance to win a Super Bowl. I stayed with the Giants as long as I could. I thought we were moving in the right direction. Unfortunately, it didn't come to that. And I'm getting later in my career, so I want to get a better chance. If he would have came out and was totally honest about that, I would not have had a problem with him leaving. And I wouldn't have gave I still would have cared if it was the Eagles. Any interdivision team, I would have cared. But I don't think as a fan base, we would have been as pissed off at him as we are. So basically what it was is he said a bunch of stuff that at this point literally meant nothing. He was just saying it to get his bag. And I mean, faith backs here. What he basically took from the Eagles, the Giants offered him 2 years ago during that playoff run. They offered.
Hey, Ant, I hate to interrupt. I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, bro.
I appreciate
All
it.
right, E-Mac.
Thanks,
All
E-Mac.
right, love you, gentlemen, and good night. Let's go,
Love you too,
Giants.
take care. I'm not sneaky. You don't have to do that. That's not my show. Let's not make my show sneaky show.
Yeah, I know that. I know, right?
Yeah. Dash, what's up, brother?
Doing good. How about you?
Oh, hanging in there. How you doing?
Just finished my class, so
Oh, okay.
Schoolwork. So yeah.
You seemed a little down last night.
Maybe it was just my audio with my AirPods and all that. So, but I wasn't down. Maybe I was tired as well, but I don't know.
I mean, I know you're critical of your Cowboys. I appreciate that about you because that's how I try and be with my Giants. You know, you get a lot of the fan base that's, wants to see the best in everything. They want to see the best so much that they don't open their eyes to what's really going on. And I appreciate that about you. So what do you got today, man? What's up with you? What do you want to talk about?
Just hop in here, talk sports. But yeah, mainly just again the Cowboys. Again, I don't know where the heck that defense was at. That's the thing.
Yeah.
They said it's effort. Michael Parsons said it's the effort. They got boys over there in Dallas got too much pressure on them because their owner don't know when to shut up.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why, as smart of a owner as I think Jerry Jones is, that's where it dumbs him down. He's got to, I understand he's the GM and everything. Just let your coach do his job. If you think you put a well-organized team together, and they do have a lot of good players on that team, I'm not going to take that from them. But if you're not going to let your coach do his job because of whatever you think he's not doing that you would want him to do, either fire him and become the coach or hire a legit coach that you're going to leave alone and let him do his job. Because what Jerry Jones is doing, and this is what pisses me off most about the Giants is if you watched Hard Knocks, now John Mara didn't force Joe Schoen to do anything. Joe Schoen had to talk to him about it, and that's rightfully so. An owner wants to know what's going on with his team. But it almost seemed to me, and all we got to see was the snippets that, HBO put into that.
Yeah.
We didn't see how many other times that Mara was in his office and talking. And why I'm saying that is even with what they didn't show, I thought Mara was in his office an awful lot. And then to come back and say to him, I'm going to lose sleep if he goes to the Eagles. I think there was more involved with that. It was almost like him saying, you know what, maybe we should throw that extra $1 million at him, as opposed to, I don't know what we're going to do if he joins the Eagles. That's what that sounded like to me. Am I reading too much into it? I could be. But when he said that, I for some reason, it chimed in my head as I'm listening to it, they're going to sign this dude. They're going to give him his money that he wants, and he's going to be with the Giants. Again, which I wouldn't have hated because then it would have erased all this stuff about him being a traitor and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But the fact that, he said that to Shane, I'm glad that Shane kind of ignored it and went and did what he thought was best for the organization. Now, a lot of people are crapping on Joe Shane. They're saying his drafts aren't great. I'm sorry. His first-round picks haven't been phenomenal. Well, Malik Neighbors has been great up to this point. Let's get him into his sophomore year where they usually have the sophomore slump and see what happens. Tibbs is doing okay. I think he's getting a lot of grief where he shouldn't. I do agree with Sully last night when he was it Sully? Oh no, it was Giants Way when he was saying that Tibbs is a quitter. And I noticed when he doesn't get to the quarterback a lot, he quits on plays. And it's funny because if you watch those plays and you see him quit, the quarterback still got the ball in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like he doesn't want to try, and that's not good. So if people want to call Kayvon a bust because of that, I'm on board. But again, he's still getting hurries. He still had 11 and a half sacks last year. Even though he's not getting the sacks and even though he's quitting on plays, which you don't want, but he's out there, we still got to look at the positives. He's still getting the hurries. I think that the Kayvon Thibodeau, Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, and Nacho or Chapman, whoever's in, I don't think they're gelled yet. I don't think they're, gelling the way they have to. Daryl jumped off. Jacob, what's up, buddy?
What's up, man? I'm sorry I cut out of there last night. I had a personal issue, but
no, that's all right. It's no problem. But yeah, I mean, the whole thing with Kayvon, it's just we got to see. Yeah. I do agree that he does quit on plays. I can't disagree with that because I've seen it myself. But I'm not gonna sit here in week or year 3 and 2 games in and just be like, oh, I'm giving up on him. Because again, the guy is still disruptive.
Yeah.
So
I want to,
like I said last night, we just all got to keep a cool booty. Everybody, for all teams out there, just keep a cool booty. It's up to the 3rd week, going into the 3rd week. Now, we need to start panicking. We need to start panicking when it gets to the week 5 and week 6. That's when we need to start panicking. Yeah,
but to quote Dennis Green, and when it pertains to Daniel Jones, he is who we thought he was.
Yeah, that part right there.
Yeah,
got that one right.
And I remember someone saying on Sneaky Show yesterday was that, I think it was Cowboys Chris, where it's like, you expect teams to be good within these weeks. It's like, no, it's like it's the beginning of the 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Just let it take some time. Let the team, because teams are still rebuilding, and teams are going to be like, okay, well, you know what? This player has not been good. We'll put the second string in there now. See how they do. Until like Daryl said, week 5, week 6, that's when it's like, okay, maybe this is the team then.
Well, that's why I was hoping, and it sucks to say, and I'm going to sound so much as a Giants hater. In my heart of hearts, I was hoping Daniel Jones shit on himself last weekend this week. I really was, because I think we know what the outcome's going to be. I have no doubt in my mind. If I could put a bet on it in Vegas, I would bet that we're going to win 2, maybe 3 games this year. I definitely would have put that bet down. But in saying that, I want to see somebody else. I don't care, and I'm not. I like Tommy DeVito. I think he's a great backup. Well, he's a good backup. I don't think he's much more than that. But I would have liked to have seen Drew Lock get a shot. I'm high on Drew Lock. I don't understand. I know people say he was this in Denver and he was that in Denver. Listen, a lot of players, and I've been saying this for so long, and I have a good example of it this year. Let's talk about Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold went to the Vikings and is playing like a superstar, like the superstar they expected him to be with the Jets. Sometimes you got to put yourself or get yourself involved in a different system with a different coaching staff to bring out your traits. And I think Drew Lock, what I seen Drew Lock in the preseason before he got hurt, is exactly what we don't get from Daniel Jones. He has quarterback instinct. He knows where his pocket is. He knows when to run out of the pocket. He knows when to throw the ball to the sidelines. He doesn't freaking force passes all the time. All quarterbacks do it, but not as much as Daniel Jones. He's not big on picks, throwing picks. He's if anything, he's a step up from Daniel Jones, and we can win. I truly believe we can win some games with Drew Lock that we're just not going to win with Daniel Jones.
I'm going to say this about Drew Lock, because I think I've been in your same stance, and that I've been high on him. I didn't feel like he really got a fair shake in Denver, and it was kind of the same case in Seattle. With Geno's emergence, if they would have put him in the spotlight, I think the same thing would happen. Right on the other side of it, like Sam Darnold, I think these guys can go anywhere. If there's a good system, they'll be an all right quarterback.
Yeah.
I think Daniel Jones is one of those guys, right? And the fact that he's not an all right quarterback makes me not necessarily believe in that day ball system. I mean, You guys watch it every weekend. I don't. And I think that's why I've been hopping in here. The happy game week. We got you guys Sunday, so I'm trying to see where you guys are at. And I get it. I've been in the same places with quarterbacks. I know how it feels with Daniel Jones. And
because you guys had like so many during the Cowboys game. They showed like that picture.
Every game they show that.
Yeah, with like different starting quarterbacks for like 30 plus years. What is it, or whatever it was? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had 4 different starting QBs last year, 4 or 5, I think. So that shows you. But, like Dash said, it takes, these teams got to find their identity on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Even the coaches, right? These teams you don't have the same set of coaches rarely, right? Unless you're winning championships like the Chiefs. But even so, you get your coaches stolen.
And again, that's why, most Giants fans that understand what's going on with the Giants will sit there and tell you like it is. The fact of the matter is even though we're starting to get out of the cap hell that Dave Gettleman put us in, we're still stuck with one of Dave Gettleman's biggest failures in Daniel Jones. We all knew you don't draft a running back at number 2. As much as I love Saquon, we had other needs. We definitely had other needs. When we picked Daniel Jones, I said this when his name started getting brought up. I'm like, they're going to pick this kid. And I don't have nothing against him. But if you look at his background, it makes no sense to me. His collegiate career, the record was, I believe it was 17-19. He wasn't a big name. He didn't throw for any records. I mean, like, you're going to make a gamble like that with the 6th overall pick in the draft. Now, I would definitely consider the Barkley trade or the Barkley pickup more than I would the Jones pickup, because again, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Daniel Jones guaranteed would have been there at pick 17, was it 16 or 17?
Oh yeah,
there's no doubt in my mind. And then I wanted Haskins. I'm not going to lie. I wanted Haskins. He wasn't great in Washington, and we all know what happened. God rest his soul. But things might have been different in New York. He wanted to be a Giant. He made that clear.
Right.
Yeah, he sure did.
We're having a hard time getting away from this Daniel Jones thing, and I'm telling you right now, if they pick up his last 2 years of this contract,
I'm done.
Yeah, I'm with you, dude. I'll watch the game because I love football, but I'll be praying for hockey season.
I'm going with my other New York team. I'm gonna start rooting for my other team, New York Jets. Nah, I don't switch over to I stay all New York. I don't go outside of that. So I guess I'll be rooting for the Jets. If they listen to me, if they go 3 and whatever and they don't pick a damn quarterback this year, I'm done.
Or at least trade for one.
Right. I want to bring this up about that draft because that 17th pick you guys had was from us. It was part of that Odell Beckham trade. Yeah. And I remember watching that draft. I was so happy when you guys picked Daniel Jones at 6. I was laughing. I'm like, it doesn't matter who they get at 17. They've ruined their night.
I will say this, though. So that Daniel Jones pick was a blessing and a curse at the same time. Because had we waited for 17, it was either 16 or 17. But had we waited to that, we might not have Dexter Lawrence right now.
Right.
I believe that was our pick.
Yeah, I remember. That was it. I remember because I was like, damn, they got a good guy with that pick. But I remember being so shocked. They were talking about Daniel Jones going in the 2nd round.
Yeah.
I
don't know, man. I'm frustrated. I'm just frustrated,
And knowing what I know now, if they would have taken Daniel Jones in the 2nd round, as Giants fans, I don't think we'd be as pissed as we are. I just and it shocks me that 6 years in, the dude has done next to nothing, has had 2 major quarterback type injuries, and fans are still backing this dude. You got to be kidding me. They were ready to run Tom Coughlin out after 2 years. But we're okay to hold on to Daniel, I don't do shit, Jones.
I know.
It's a joke.
Then I got a question for you and Daryl. So then when it comes to you guys in the future, depending on the record, do you think the Giants will then take Daniel Jones out and place either Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito in that place?
I think
depending on your record.
So that's a hard one, and I'll put it this way. If Daniel Jones can come out and do what he did this past week, I truly believe he could end up being our quarterback the rest of the season. I almost have no doubt in my mind, but there is that little 5% that says they'll end up pulling him. But the fact that he had no turnovers, he played pretty decently, I think would hold his job week to week. But if we get losses like we did in week 1 and he's continuing to make the mistakes he has in the previous 5 years, then
He's done.
Yeah, he'll be done.
And listen, I believe this too. And if listen, that's not his quarterback, and he shows it. His body language says it. Everything about Brian Daboll when it comes to Daniel Jones says that's not his quarterback. That's not who he wants his quarterback to be. So
I think that could be part of that could be part of Daboll's attitude during his his press conferences. He doesn't want to say anything because he doesn't want to throw the kid under the bus because he believes that he's the best quarterback of the 3 that they have, which to me is a farce. But he's also saying to himself, I can't do it with this kid. We got to figure something out. So again, that's where I want to throw in, what is Mara saying to Shane? What is Shane saying to Daboll? Or what is Mara saying to Daboll? Like, I would love to be a fly on the wall during those conversations. I really would. Because Daniel Jones still being at the helm, it's
mind-boggling.
It's beyond mind-boggling to me. Beyond it. Because any other team, Daniel Jones,
his ass would have been gone.
He wouldn't have got that contract. There's no way in hell he would have got that contract. If maybe they would have had to tag him.
And how did we miss out on Justin Fields? How did we do that? He sat there for a couple days before the Steelers picked him up.
Yeah.
Awesomeness Sports, what's up, man? How you doing?
Then I want to go back to what you were saying about how, when you were talking about how Jerry Jones needs to let the coaches do their part. It's almost like with the Buccaneers when Tom Brady was still there. Tom Brady was able to game manage. The coach was just sitting on the sidelines having Tom Brady coach instead. And same thing for Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers was trying to do that, but of course the Packers weren't letting him. So I believe.
I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
The thing with Tom Brady in the year he came to Tampa and they won that Super Bowl, I get what you're saying, but Bruce Arians doesn't cross me as a guy that's going to just let Tom Brady do what he wants. I really don't believe that. I do believe that he spoke to Bruce Arians about it. I do believe he spoke to him about it, and that they came to an agreement. But I don't think Brady just went out there and did whatever he wanted to. I find that hard to believe.
You're not going to win that way.
No.
They already had those stars there.
Tom Brady was a lot of like the sheriff. He had a lot of input. They listened. And they implemented a lot of the things that the two quarterbacks love to do.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just what happened to me.
Have you guys been getting that? I'm getting a lot of glitching on my end the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, me too.
You cut out 1 and 2. That's it.
Well, I've been getting glitching with you, but it was the same way last week. I don't know if it's where you're at, if it's the Wi-Fi. It could be me. I don't know. But
if these other guys are saying that, then that's an issue. Then I don't know if these other guys are hearing the same thing.
I think it's just your camera because quality is bad, but I don't know how your camera is like. Is it like on
audio? That's
no, you look good, Jacob. I can see you clearly.
No, I'm not worried about that. I'm on a laptop, but if it's Wi-Fi or audio's messed up, I can.
Yeah, it could definitely be the Wi-Fi.
But so Browns. I just don't know what happened to what's that boy's name y'all paid all that money to?
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
He's one of my favorite players, man, coming out of where he used to be over there at Houston, man. He caught all those allegations, and now
it's still doing it.
Yeah, Daryl's just
when I talk, I sound awful.
No, you sound great.
You sound great.
Camera quality. That's it. Yeah,
Yeah,
camera.
like we can hear you legit, but every now and then your camera freezes up, and then
Well,
it catches.
yeah, I mean, I'll shut my camera off if I have to. I just want to make sure I sound decent to you guys.
No, we can hear you.
Oh, no,
Legit.
you're-
I'm one of the biggest Deshaun Watson supporters you'll see, right? I'll keep it real with you. Came in those 6 games that he played in the suspension season. He went 3-30. It was like, the rust excuse was there. Next year comes back, he goes 5-1, right? Each week trending upwards and upwards. And that last game against the Ravens was beautiful, right? The Ravens didn't go on to lose until Patrick Mahomes in the AFC Championship,
Right.
right? The Browns showed a lot in that game to me because you can have all the talent in the world. You can have the best roster in the NFL. That don't mean you're going to win anything, right? That team's got to have mentality. Those coaches have to instill that mentality. And I've seen that with that. Deshaun week 1, I mean, Dash saw it, right? Cowboys, they got playmakers and they made a lot of plays, right? Our offense was not ready to play football. Part of it, we had both our tackles out. Still, same thing this week, and they played a lot better. But, these first couple weeks when offenses, they don't have that time together, especially offensive line, it's where you see issues all the time. That's why the Ravens are 0-2. That's why the Bengals are 0-2, right?
Why? Let me ask you this. What's going on with Cleveland's running game? Is Chubb still out?
Chubb was on they put him on injured reserve, but he's just PUP for the first 4 weeks. We think he's going to come back week 5 against the Commanders. It's an iffy. But
I think with Cleveland, I think that team runs how Nick Chubb runs.
And that's fair. I really like what we put out there. At least, there's still a lot of issues. We had a lot of penalty issues this week, but I mean, Deshaun played great, right? And I tell people week 1, you put Patrick Mahomes in the offense that was going on. Like nobody is producing anything, right? Your offensive line doesn't give you time. Your wide receivers don't have time. And if your running backs can't run, Dash saw it all, right? It was a disaster.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like if you have Chubb back and Chubb is back to Nick Chubb form, then it's only going to take a lot of that pressure off Deshaun Watson,
right?
Off of his back. So I think once, Chubb comes back and he's, assuming he's fully healthy, I think Cleveland's going to start spiraling up again.
Well, I feel confident at least right now. Let's give Deshaun a chance. I mean, he's got the weapons. Yeah. I mean, David Njoku is going to be out a couple more weeks, but I mean, Judy, he had a big game last week. Coop, he's had a couple drops. He's struggled these first 2 weeks, but he's a veteran. He'll figure it out. And I think we got you guys this week. We got the Raiders and then the Commanders, right? Yeah. Respectfully, these are some stepping stone games that you need to see this team ramp up. Defense is there. Defense was there week 1, even against the Cowboys, right? The Cowboys scored so many points. They had a punt return, and then they were given short fields and the defense was on the field all the time, but they did the best that they could, right? And you guys are talking about your offensive struggles here. I mean, you're going to feel it this weekend, right? I'm not going to sugarcoat it, right? Our secondary has been lights out. Your guy Neighbors, he's probably going to be doubled, right? Even so, we got 3 different corners that are going to go one-on-one with him. If one's not working, they're going to change it. And if your offensive line's struggling, well, then DJ is going to be running.
You know what? I don't want to say that. I'm going to say this for the first time in years. For the first time in years, I'm going to say this, and I'm going to enjoy saying it. I think the Giants finally have a good line. I am 100% happy with this line. The problem is, now that we have this line, what other excuses are Giants fans going to come up with for Daniel Jones?
Not enough weapons, right? That's what we hear all the time, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I mean,
Mike, I saw you in the backstage, bro. I'm sorry I didn't get to bring you on, and I'm going to be wrapping it up in a few minutes here. I just got to, being a little but
I'm going to try to go on Sneaky tomorrow night. I was in there for like 40 minutes before he brought me on, and then I was in there for 2 minutes, and I had to leave. So
we had a lot of people in there too. So it was
definitely, I bet. But
that's why I asked him the week before when Daryl fell asleep if I talked too much.
Yeah, it was tough, man. There were a lot of people, a lot of different conversations going on. I'm just trying to listen, and there's not too many Browns fans that are sitting around floating around here. So, we can connect a little bit. This is an interesting week, I think, for both our teams, right? You guys seem in a direction where you're expecting a loss, right? But if the Browns lose, like it's still a big deal. And I feel a lot better after this week against the Jaguars because of the offensive line execution.
Yeah.
And that the Giants aren't in the hottest spot right now, but it's football, right?
Right.
I don't know if the game's in New York or Cleveland.
It's in Cleveland.
It's in Cleveland.
Oh, okay, then I'm not worried at all, right? Because that defense went 7-1, 8-1 at home last year, right? We already took an L at home already. So
I'm gonna be honest with you. I wouldn't even worry about if it was in MetLife Stadium because I believe nobody gonna show up no more. I'm being honest with you.
I agree.
I don't mean to sound cliche, but I just want a competent quarterback. That's it.
Yeah.
I get
I
where
agree.
you guys are coming from, right? I've been through it, and even Deshaun, a lot of people are giving up on him, but he's had great games as a Brown, right? Just you got to get the pieces together. In week 1, they were not there whatsoever, and you guys saw it on social media too. People are like, "Look at Baker Mayfield, look at this!" Like, you got
Like a where Baker Mayfield is at now. He's with the Bucks and won 2 games already.
well,
And upset the Lions as well.
I'll tell you who else I would try to trade for. Not just Bryce Young. I would try to trade for Green Bay once Jordan Love comes back and try and see if we get Malik Willis. I wanted them to grab Malik Willis. Was it last year? I think it was
I
last year.
play out of college.
I mean, you guys can have JMO. You guys
No,
can have Jameis Winston.
don't do that. Don't
You
do
guys
that.
can have Trey
That's like
Lance.
trading Daniel Jones for Daniel Jones.
Yeah, that was a bad comment. That was a bad comment, Jacob. Bad point. Bad point.
You can have Trey Lance.
I think Trey Lance still has some upside. He's still,
Okay,
still
no.
work in progress.
He threw 5 picks in a preseason game, dude. I don't know what went on there. But
I didn't even watch it. I didn't.
Season.
Yeah, I didn't even watch the preseason, so I wouldn't even know.
I barely watch it myself unless I ain't got nothing to do.
Rush. Do you know Cooper Rush is like 6-2 as a starter?
Yeah, I know. But that was
Yeah,
because Dak was injured.
Yeah, and he had a better team at the time too.
Yeah.
He did, but hey, listen, it's just wishful thinking.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Hey guys, I'm gonna start wrapping up the show. I appreciate everybody coming on. You guys are the best, man. You guys supporting me and everything means a lot, especially after the vacation I took. So I appreciate you guys coming back. Jacob, man, what are your final thoughts, brother?
I'm excited. I'll try to get on Sneaky Show tomorrow night, but this is an interesting week for both teams. I'm glad to at least hear you guys, concerned with everything. That makes me feel a little bit better because I'm still concerned. Like I hope Deshaun goes out there and throws for 404 touchdowns, but at the end of the day, you got to take it 1 week at a time. And with you guys, the Daniel Jones situation, you're at your final conclusion, and that's the good first part, right?
Yeah.
You've got your griefing over with. You're starting to move on and move forward. You got a good amount of pieces already, though. Tibbs, I heard you talk about him and quitting. That's something that can be changed. Look at Chase Young, right? Especially in that Super Bowl. You got a good defensive line. You got to get some corners in there, but you got a couple structured pieces already that will be there for the next couple of years. So,
absolutely.
You guys understand where I'm at, and I understand where you guys are at. So,
all right, Jake, it was good having you on, buddy. I'll look forward to seeing you tomorrow, if not Tuesday, or back on my show next week, man.
All right, sounds good. Well, I'll have to be. You guys take care.
You too, brother.
All right.
Thanks. Ash, what do you got, buddy?
Just again, defense. See how defense goes next week against the Ravens, and again, I believe we're gonna lose on that one.
Wait a minute, Dash, you Cowboy fan, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought y'all was playing the Saints, but y'all just got whooped by Saints.
Yeah. You see, on the second half, I was sleeping on the couch, so. I gave up at the second half. I'm like, woke up, 44 points. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I hear you.
But, yeah, again, like I said, defense, see how they are next week against the Ravens. Again, I believe we're just going to lose on that one as well, knowing that Ravens are a good team. And then I don't know who we have next week after that. Hold on, I'll just search it up real quick. And then we have the Giants, so I'm not
Oh,
worried
yeah,
about
that's
that. So yeah, just see again how defense goes. Like Dak said when I showed that question on Sneaky Show yesterday, just gotta reset, see, put it on the best team on the field next week.
Yep, that's it, man. Hey, Dash, thanks for coming on, brother. I appreciate the support and love having you on, man. I'll talk to you
Yep.
next week, hopefully.
Yep, we'll do. See you.
All right, see you, brother. And my man, Daryl, what do you got, bud?
I want Shador Sanders, man.
I do too, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Me either, because I mean that's what I heard on the podcast, on his podcast. But you know, it is what it is. I believe we're gonna beat the Browns this weekend, man. I really do.
I'll be watching because I'm a Giants fan. I don't have the same confidence you do, but it would be nice to get a win at this point.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And yeah, that's all I got, man. I'm just tired. I'm just tired.
Yeah, I hear you, brother. You going to be on Sneaky Show tomorrow night?
Yeah, this team just stresses me out. Because all we need now is a competent quarterback, and we'll win a whole lot more games than just 7 and 8 games.
We still need a little bit of a secondary. We need some DBs, man. Banks is starting to scare me. He's doing okay, but he's starting to scare me.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, I think we should be able to pick up some next year in the free agents. See, I think we should get some in free agent next year and draft the quarterback.
yeah, no, I hear
That's
you.
just me. But you never know though, because once you take a player out of one situation, he might be good in a different situation.
Exactly.
So I'm starting to feel you on this Drew Lock. I'm gonna go back and look at some game film on him when he was over there in Denver because I like to check him out, and I'm gonna check him out and see how he was balling in college too. And I'll get back with you next Wednesday and we'll talk about it.
All right, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming on.
All right, Ant. We'll holler
All
at
right.
you, bro.
See you, brother. All right, guys, that's my show tonight. I went a little bit over. We got caught up in some really good conversation. Like I said, the more people to come in, the longer we can extend some of these convos are great. Unfortunately for me as a Giants fans and a lot of the Giants fans that come on, again, this is why I appreciate guys like Jacob and Dash and, Positive Philly, Mike. Again, I apologize, Mike, I didn't get you on. I'll try and get you on next week for sure. Sneaky's having a show tomorrow night if you can make it. But I like the rapport with everybody, and I like that everybody, for the most part, understands what I'm saying. They understand that, as big as of a Giants fan as I am, I call it like I see it. My team is ass right now. We've been ass for a long time now. Are the Eagles a good team? Yes, I still think they are. Are the Cowboys a good team? They haven't showed it in the last couple of weeks, but I still think that they're going to be moving up. Washington, I said last week before we even played them that it's a better team. Do I think the Giants let that game slip from them in different aspects? Absolutely. I do think that the Graham Gano hit was a bigger issue than all the other issues, with the exception of the gaping holes on our defense. But overall, I just want to see this team win at this point. And I hope Daryl's right, man. I hope we can get the win this week. And if we don't, we're back to, what we've been going through. And again, as much as we hate it, all we can do is hope for the win. Guys, I appreciate everybody that was watching. I appreciate everybody that came on tonight. Tell your friends, man. You don't have to be a Giants fan to come on here. All this background stuff and, my 4 favorite New York teams around my picture here or around my, my camera here, doesn't mean that these are the teams that we'll only talk about. So, again, tell your friends, your neighbors, if they're interested to kill an hour or two on a Wednesday night, with it being hump day, we can talk about their teams as well. Talk a little college. We get into it. Hockey season's about to start. The Yankees are back in, they've been in first place for a little bit, but They're, starting to ramp up again. Could be a nice playoff run for the Yankees. The Knicks coming off a great year next year. So basketball, I'm talking any sports, guys, any team, any sports, any flavor. I don't talk politics. That's the one thing I will not do. We'll make our jokes about certain things. But I'm a firm believer that politics are crap, period. Doesn't matter if you're Democrat. Doesn't matter if you're Republican. It just doesn't matter. To me, it doesn't matter. To you, it might matter more, and I don't hate you for that. That's your opinion, and we can be cool. Doesn't matter to me. All right, guys. With that, I'm going to end the show tonight. Hope to see everybody next week. Appreciate y'all. Still either tomorrow night on Sneaky Show or Tuesday night or Wednesday night next week. I'll see you guys soon. Peace.